Sam Armstrong can talk for free. He's here already. Very good morning once again to you.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us. I do want to get more to, well, we didn't really get a chance to talk about Israel, and I also want to get your thoughts on what Joe Bartosh had to say as well, also in terms of pornography and freedom of speech. But let's also just start though with this £100 million extra for border security. Again, it's Home Office budget. It's already there anyway. They're not able to stop the boats. We've seen 25,000 more people arrive in just over the first half of this year. We're looking for another record year. This is after they stopped the boats under Rishi Sunak and smashed the gangs under Keir Starmer. Clearly not working. As we spoke to a representative of Reform a little bit earlier, the point is you need to stop the pull factor. The pull factor is you're no longer going to be in a campsite in Calais in France being harassed by the French police unless or until you get on a dinghy, at which point they're saying bye-bye, adios, have a lovely time. You're going to get a 3-4 star hotel. You're going to get your food paid for. You can get a job on the black market working as a delivery rider. And you're probably never, ever going to be deported. Until that changes, we're never going to stop these people coming.
Yeah, it's another 100 million quid on top of the 500 million quid, just another bung to the French to keep sending us the worst of the worst, all the people that they don't want, send them right over here. We've got a hotel room with their name on it ready. And look, the thing that I find most galling about this is the fact that in the Home Office, you could go into the Home Office now, you could go into the press office in that department, the body there that is designed to tell us everything's going well, and they have a calendar, they call it a grid, and in there, every Monday for the next 6 months is a plan of all of these stupid announcements that they're going to make. And
this'll fool them this time.
One of these clowns, Angela Eagle or Yvette Cooper, who frankly, as Dominic Cummings basically says, are just puppets, they're just puppets. They send them out and they will announce, oh, this week we're banning mobile phones from, operating in wherever. This week we're making it a criminal offence to do this. It's already a crime. You're just not dealing with it. And, one of the reasons not dealing with it is there simply aren't enough prison spaces to arrest everybody that breaks into this country illegally. You're certainly not going to deport them back. And the public at home are just seeing this, and there does come a point, and after it's years, and when you're looking at a year in which you're looking at 50,000, maybe next year 60,000.
It's a huge number of people, and almost entirely young men of fighting age, and almost entirely from countries where they do not share our values. Everyone's got to stop pretending that people coming from Afghanistan. There are people coming from Pakistan, but Pakistan hasn't got a war on. You're not being persecuted in Pakistan.
These people are fleeing torture and war,
Sudan, Somalia,
which is why, of course, they leave the women and children at home to suffer it. But actually, just to make another point, it's actually really unfair to a lot of migrants that do come to this country, do contribute. I'll tell you this, there isn't a problem with the crime numbers of American immigrants. There isn't a problem with Canadians, Australians, Kiwis, the French, the Germans, the Italians, all of whom can come over to this country, can make a positive contribution, can never stick their hand out when they turn up, in fact are required to earn lots and lots of money and make this country a brighter and more vibrant place. We know the kinds of people we are talking about. We know, as Kemi Badenoch has said in the past, that not all cultures are equal. Some of the cultures...
You're racist. Oh, no, they're all exactly the same and all of equal value, including the ones where they throw gay people off towers. Look, no, they're all the same.
The disparity in countries that do provide this data accurately between the kinds of numbers that are committing sexual offences from certain countries and other countries are through the roof. We are seeing a disparity of 10 times
But again, so with Sweden, they've made massive mistakes, and again, there's a reason why people are now, changing their policies in a lot of these countries, is when they actually had to issue leaflets to explain, that you're not allowed to just grab women in the street. These men are coming from cultures where if you are not covered up, you're fair game, and therefore a girl walking along in normal clothing, she's not wearing a bikini in the street, just normal clothing, they think they have the right to grab that woman to sexually assault. Bearing in mind, these are men coming from cultures where it's not a crime to rape and beat your wife. It's a right of a husband to rape and beat his wife. Why did anyone think there would be a problem, Sam? I mean, why would anyone think that would be an issue for us?
It is a reality. I'm afraid it is a reality that in great parts of the Muslim world, whether that's in the Arabian Peninsula, whether that's in Afghanistan or Pakistan, that women who leave the house are required to have a male escort. That is not just. It is not just because of their backwards patriarchal views towards women that they think they can't go out the house. It is also because it is dangerous. It is materially dangerous to be a woman in those countries.
I'll tell you,
but it's not the women from those countries that are coming here. It's the men.
I'll tell you also, though, my issue with women being covered up like that and the burqa and all that, and I see it every day in London. If you live in Central London, you see it all the time, is genuinely when a woman wears that, I mean, either she's been forced to do it or she's doing it it's usually a political statement, actually, of other than otherism. What they're saying is, I'm a good woman, don't rape or sexually assault me. Do her over there because she is not covered and therefore is fair game. And I'm sorry, that is the attitude. And I've spoken to enough women who cover themselves up, who Muslim, who wear their burqa, who have said that to me in phone-ins previously. I can assure you. Look, but we talked about that. Before we go on, I want to talk about Israel. But before we talk about that, we've talked about the hotels. We've had calls of people who've been at protests. People have had enough. And there is an element where people are. I'm very encouraged that people are going, no, up with this, we will not put. But it's very important these protests are peaceful. But again and again, we are seeing that actually it's the Antifa lot. It's the people who are bussed in, who are trying to cause problems. As a general rule, if you've got a mask on, I don't want burqas, I don't want face masks in the street. I mean, you see these lunatic people on the train in the morning with their face masks on still. I mean, seriously, get therapy. Seriously, get therapy. And read some science as well. They don't work. But it's... But we've got the madness of that. The police should be clamping down on that. But once again, we've got this whole thing where, a lot of the media reporting of this is very unfair and very one-sided. And people are troublemakers. Even if we talk about women and children sitting around, some like the pink protests, they just turn up, they've got banners, and they're just very quietly protesting in their local area. And then we've had with the Online Safety Act, I know it's something you feel very strongly about. We've actually had clamping down on people's ability to even see some of these protests online. Yeah.
Julia, with the clampdown on free speech online, on social media, on Facebook, on X, on everywhere else, if you are not listening, if you are not watching a station like Talk, you are literally being sold every day a total and utter pup.
You're either totally unaware or you've got a completely skewed version of it.
But if you're listening to what is broadcast on other stations, you are told that this is basically a fantastic country that is getting better every day. You've never had it so good.
Diversity is our strength.
Diversity is good. We've been culturally enriched for the last 30 years. And the only problem in this country is a bunch of nasty, angry, far-right racists that are marauding around the country and making it very, very unpleasant for these beautiful beacons, these shining cities on the hill that are the hotels where we're supporting the rocket scientists and the doctors and the brain surgeons
that all arrived on dinghies.
That have all arrived on dinghies. And remember that most of them are women and children, even if they don't know that.
Yes, and a government minister did say that. He did actually say that when we can see for our own eyes. The stats are very, very clear about who they are. But this is the thing. We just had a conversation with Joe Bartosh, who's got a new book out, co-authored, called Pornography, and we're talking about Bonnie Blue and Channel 4. Now, you and I both freedom of speech campaigners. I think you're more of an absolutist than I am. But I mean, like the Online Safety Act is being used ridiculously, and every teenage boy has downloaded a VPN and is now seeing his porn as and when he chooses, as is everybody else. But what do you make of there's that balance between because it was supposed to be safety for our children, and I'm now very wary of anything. I'm someone who would have been in favour of these sort of things until we had lockdown, until we had that clampdown on freedom of speech we've had, and the clampdown we've had on freedom of speech over trans issues, over climate change and net zero. I'm now very wary of any clampdown for my safety. But I'm a mum as well. I am horrified by what is online porn-wise. If people want to see stuff, I don't think it's a good idea that your average 13-year-old, 15-year-old, 6-year-old, 11-year-olds even, should easily, with 3 clicks of a button on Google, be able to see a woman being gangbanged and strangled. Call me old-fashioned, but I don't. So what do we do about it?
Yeah, well, I think firstly, you're right to compare the Online Safety Act to what's happening in COVID. And by the way, the same unit, Julia, that was spying on you during lockdown is now spying on those people, is now sending emails to Reddit and X saying that people shouldn't be allowed to talk about two-tier policing. So it's the same people that sold us all that nonsense on COVID are now trying to clamp down on free speech over migration. But look, you're not going to protect children by banning content in which an MP is talking in the House of Commons, literally in the House of Commons, about the child rape scandal, the gang rape scandal that we've seen in northern cities, or in fact cities all over this country, off X. Here's how you deal with it. It's really, really clear. No kid under the age of 14 should have a phone, pretty much of any variety, in my view. Kids up to the age of 16 should have dumb phones. They shouldn't be allowed to go onto smartphones. Parents need to get laptops out of kids' bedrooms, put them in the sitting room, put them in the dining room, put them wherever you've got where you can watch them. Because I can promise you, kids are very, very enterprising. They're adventurous. They will get around it. The search rates of VPNs prove that you don't know it. And here's how you deal with disgusting, degrading filth that is the pornography that is routinely accessed by children in this country. You ban it.
Strangling a woman shouldn't be legal.
I do not understand why it is legal in this country for people to be able to watch videos of women getting slapped around the face. I do not understand why it should be legal.
I'm sorry. That was the Olympics. The Olympics showed that to billions of people quite happily in the boxing final.
More madness, but when it is combined with sex, I think you're seeing something particularly dangerous. If you're showing sexual content with women being slapped, women being strangled,
spat on,
urinated on, and worse, that filth should have no place in our modern society. And our politicians...
Now people are going to be able to get hold of it. People say they'll go to the dark web. No, that stuff is available on page 1 of most porn sites. Oh, also, by the way, the barely legal thing, the whole incest. Huge percentage of videos on these porn sites are about incest. Oh my God. I mean, this is really scary.
And Julia, we have pretty successfully banned child pornography. So we actually have the technology. We actually have the system set up to ban this. We could wipe this with a simple write of a pen. We could solve so many of these issues because it is so bad, not just for the women who are subjected to this, not just for the future girlfriends that they have, but actually for young people. And it's leading to some bizarre consequences.
I think it's good for young men.
More than almost 40% of the youngest generation, Gen Z at the moment, are basically celibate.
I'm not surprised.
This is the least sexed generation ever. It's leading to bizarre consequences in which young men sit around watching filth online, never practicing it outside. It's going to lead to huge societal problems. The birth rate is going to collapse yet further.
Lots of this is in this brilliant book by Joe Bartos.
Just won't do it.
No, exactly. If no one wants to talk about it, it's all very, very uncomfortable. But we need to talk about it. It's absolutely cruel. Again, I've been saying, let your kids have a drink, let them go to the pub and meet other people and have a laugh. I mean, honestly, I've said, like, university, why are you all at a pro-Palestinian rally? Why aren't you just getting drunk and having sex like normal students do? Or we did in my day. I mean, I really think they've lost the ability to get your kids, and that involves parents getting off their phones as well. That's really put your phones down. Every time I'm at a restaurant, or especially when you're on a holiday and you see a family, they're literally sitting at the table and everyone's on their phone. Breaks my soul. Buy a pack of cards. They cost about £2. Talk to each other while you play cards. Maybe find out what your kids' names are. That might be an idea. But most parents will say, well, my child's not looking at that. Your child has absolutely seen a woman being strangled whilst being gangbanged. Your child has seen that, and you can live in fantasy land that they haven't. But they have, and it has affected them, and it's going to affect all their future relationships. So it's time for a lot of parents to wake the hell up. Right, I want to talk about something else. We're going to come to this quite soon anyway, but I do also want to get your thoughts on this before we go to calls. The backlash against Keir Starmer after one of the senior leaders at Hamas, what a surprise, praised Keir Starmer, Emmanuel Macron, and the Prime Minister of Canada as well. This is Ghazi Hamad. In an interview at the weekend on video, he said that the major nations planning to recognise a Palestinian state vindicated the group's terror attack on October the 7th. He said quite clearly it was one of the fruits of October the 7th. Now, people like you said that, people like I said that, like me said that, we know, what is my grammar there, and our audience as well. It's absolutely obvious. There were conditions put on Israel over Gaza aid and two-state solutions, not a single condition placed on Hamas. And then we've seen, and I think we can show them right now, videos of two hostages, one being held by Hamas and one being held by another group, but in Gaza. And I've got to be honest with you, I mean, absolutely horrible. First of all, there was this footage of Avatar David. He's an Israeli hostage being held by Hamas, digging his own grave, being forced to dig his own grave in the tunnels where he's been held for 2 years. And also then the family of the hostage, Rom Braslavsky, who's being held by Palestinian Islamic Jihad, showed a video of him, released a video of him looking incredibly emaciated, saying he was unable to even get off his bed. He was so emaciated. Neither of these pictures, neither of these images made it to the front page of the newspapers. The newspapers that happily used a picture of a child they claimed was still in Gaza and was starving, a Palestinian child who actually, interestingly, was actually in Italy, in a hospital in Italy, and has a congenital issue, nothing to do with malnutrition as a result of a lack of aid. They seem to just strangely not want to recognise this, but there's no doubt at all. Keir Starmer, Mark Carney and Emmanuel Macron have given succour to the Hamas terrorists and basically given them a reward for what they did on October the 7th, whilst ignoring the plight of the hostages.
Julia, I actually owe Keir Starmer an apology. A few months ago I described handing over the Chagos Islands to an ally of China and paying them for the privilege as the single worst act of statecraft in history. Because it wasn't. Yeah. This was instead. What Keir Starmer has decided to do is to tell Hamas that you can get what you've always wanted, which is recognition as a government. You can send diplomats to the UN. You can jaunt around the world. You can come over here. If Israel fails to make a ceasefire with you by September. Yeah. And what do you have to do in order to make sure that Israel can't have a ceasefire with you? Well, you can not return the hostages that you still have underground. You can continue to launch terror attacks at the Israeli population. You can continue to subject your people to the most awful oppression that has ever been seen, as you have done for the last 20 years.
Steal the aid whenever you can.
Steal every
incentive, exactly. And then all of the media, again, this morning...
And you will be rewarded.
I do it just to goad me up. Listening to the Jeremy Burns and others on the BBC talking, basically being very critical of Netanyahu because he won't end the war. The war wouldn't be ended if I was in charge of Israel, I'll tell you that right now.
Julia, if a British hostage is taken, the British government has an absolute policy, which is it does not negotiate with terrorists. Not only do we not expect Israel to live up to that, we expect Israel to write basically a blank check to a terrorist organisation that kidnaps not one, not two, but several hundred.
But like 1,200, releasing 1,200 prisoners sort of per hostage. It is quite extraordinary.